Tell us a bit about your journey also to get to where you are as a photographer. Did you start doing photography or videography?
I initially was a videographer, and I needed to sort of reset myself a little bit, and I went and worked in retail, literally selling cameras in the Australian equivalent of Best Buy. And one day I just decided to buy a camera, a good camera.
How were you already taking shots that were amazing?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've always loved film. You know, it's been passionate sort of movie and TV watcher as a kid. You know, and living in Australia, Los Angeles, Hollywood may as well have been on another planet. It was that far away. You know, and I remember getting my first VHS video recorder and the first movie and watching it 100 times. So I think visually I was always influenced by movies, you know, and that beautiful horizontal, landscape, format of, and just the breadth and the pacing of movies in the 70s and 80s, they weren't, cut really hard.
Yeah.
So I love films like Blade Runner and Alien, and so I think cinematically, visually, I was always just influenced by movies. And they say, great cinematographers make great photographers, and great photographers make great cinematographers. So I think I took I tried to represent what I shot, even with my post-production. I'd always make my photographs a lot wider, and crop them down. And then just shooting everything black and white. I was very influenced by that old school. Like the paparazzi now. They hide in trash cans and take pictures of people throwing out their garbage. But the paparazzi in the 50s and 60s were artists. Those shots of people on the red carpet going to Hollywood movies and were just stunning. And that stuff of Frank Sinatra. So I would, try to infuse that in my work in the black and white treatment and things like that.
Well, I mean, some of your photography, walking through your gallery.
Yeah, I was just imagining, as you were describing it, I was picturing us walking through the gallery.
Yeah, it's great. And some of the shots, like you're saying, the landscape shots, but you have some of these portraits that they're up on the wall, like literally they're 20 feet long, it feels like, and these gorgeous landscapes and
they're so immersive,
action shots, and exactly, it kind of takes you into wherever that photo is.
And I think it's when I'm doing photo shoots with people, I try to be really engaged with that person, and by not having too much going on, like even when we're shooting with Daniel, in London, there's good cause to have 20 assistants and digital imaging technicians to, monitor the shots as you take them, stuff like that. But that all just distracts from getting that personal touch, So even these shoots, which would pay $100,000, for a day's work, it would just be myself and Ken, and I'd roll the hair and makeup person into one person rather than having, and that'd be it. There'd be three of us instead of a cast of thousands. I think the end result is always, you get a little bit more out of the subject.
And so, sort of like listing off a few of the different big projects that you've done, because I know you've worked with a bunch of different TV series, massive franchises, and then you've also created these unique books of your artwork as well. Tell me a bit about that.
I think, again, down to, my age and my upbringing, books were, and the smell of paper, when you're reading a new novel. I just love books, I'm so happy that companies like Taschen are still out there creating these amazing books that you can buy for $49 to, $15,000 books, and...
the first one I saw was your, was it Women in Sci-Fi?
Men of Sci-Fi.
Men of Sci-Fi. Which was, because I know you worked on Battlestar, you worked with Sanctuary. Did you do Stargate as well?
No, not Stargate.
Star Trek?
Star Trek recently as well. So that book was almost like a retrospective of 10 years of my work. So, there are photographs in there which are the very first photographs I ever took on a sci-fi set on Battlestar Galactica. right up to shows like Sanctuary and Star Trek and actors that I cherry picked, you know, from those shows. Most of those photographs in that book are self-commissioned, you know, like I would approach the actors and shoot with them. And I never had the idea to create that book when I was doing those shoots. I was just doing those photo shoots because I loved that person's work. You know, I said, I really want to do a photo shoot with you. And then my business publishing partner, Ken, who's based in Australia, we just got this idea. We were actually at a convention and we saw this fan struggling with the 20 autograph photographs that she had, and they were falling all over the floor and everything. And we said, wouldn't it be great if that was just all in a book, you know, so you could take it. So something that's really satisfying to me now is that I constantly get tagged in tweets where people are going around to conventions all over the country and all around the world, and they're tweeting a picture of themselves with that actor signing that book. So it's kind of like
so smart.
they collect. It's a collecting product, you know.
But it's something that you know, like getting a random picture signed. Yeah. It's not really something you leave on a coffee table or whatever. That seems odd. No. But your book is like a coffee table book of beautiful images of, especially if you're a sci-fi person, the people that you love or whatever some of the different projects that you've worked on. I just I remember when we first met. So it was probably
2009, I think it was.
Was it? Okay, so yeah, we're over 10 years ago, and you had been filming with some actors. Amanda Tapping was one of them. Robin Dunn was another, out in Vancouver and LA. And Amanda Tapping is the sweetest, smartest woman you'll ever meet in the film industry. And
sci-fi.
She's
queen,
she's an amazing, hardworking person. And she was talking about you. Then Robin was talking about you. Then a few others were talking about you. Like, who the heck is this photographer everyone's talking about? I want headshots by him. So this is before Property Brothers and all of that.
But I know when you guys, I've seen those shots. Like, was that the first shot?
Oh yeah.
The first photo shoot?
I used your photo to impress Linda. I'm like, here, let me send you a photo, and it was one of your beautiful shots.
It wasn't one of the topless ones.
It was. No, it wasn't.
Was it? Oh, was it?
So it was 2010.
Okay.
Wow,
and I remember we were in Hawaii for Hannah's wedding. And we were just chit-chatting then.
So not we, like her and Hannah were.
Yeah, sorry. I was with my family.
Yeah.
And he sends me a text saying like, hey, just got a photo shoot done. Let me know which ones are your favorites. And he sends me this like contact sheet of like amazing photos. I'm like, okay.
She just, instantly turned on.
It's still one of my favorite photos of you.
Yeah,
the one of him in the corner.
But I remember, because I had done so many shoots, and usually I'll go and shoot for a 4-hour shoot. Yeah. And there's maybe 2 photos that are like, those are pretty good, we can do something with that. When I shot with you, that first shoot, I think we went for 2.5 hours or something. Yeah, we had like 20 shots, 20 unique looking pictures, whether it was the temperature of the photo, whether it was a black and white, or whether it was just different changes that we did. And literally, we just walked around downtown LA and a little in studio and just found natural light. You didn't even have to have big lighting setups.
No, and that's why. That's the way I started, because I bought this camera and I was self-taught. I haven't studied photography in any way, and for me it was all about window light, and chasing the sun.
That's a true art. It really is, because I know a lot of photographers, and they're great, but they have to have a studio setting where they can control all their lighting. For you to create that, you're evoking emotion.